Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is July 28th, and this is our first edition of a new show. We have a lot to talk about. There's been a lot going on in the wrestling scene, and a lot of new faces are being pushed up. My name is Justin Valencia, the voice of Extreme Backyard Wrestling, and here with me, the host of the show, Chris Conant.
Yo, what's up? What's up with everybody? This is our first show of Wrestle Reaction. I'm here with my host today, Sick Mexican. We got a lot to go about. We got a lot to go over. I'm sorry I botched in the beginning, because now hopefully I won't botch in the end. A lot of news today. We're going to go over the Raw show. We're going to go over the SmackDown show. We're going to go over NXT, SummerSlam. We're going to go over it all. We're going to get caught up on everything. So when our weekly show can actually go on, we can actually be fully caught up to grass and fully going on. But Just, how you been, Just? Tell the people how you been. Any new news? Anything going on this weekend, Just? What's going on with you, buddy?
Well, with the DN, the Democratic Convention over here, I've been working my ass off. I live in South Philly, so the streets have been blocked off. I'm sure you know about this, Chris. So it's been real hectic, but today's the last day, so everything should be cleared off. Everything should go back to normal. But I mean, it's been real hectic on my end. How about you?
Well, my end's been pretty good, and it's even better now because we're brought to you by our new sponsors, Fully Today at Fightful.com, brought to you by our new brand at Wrestle Reaction with Sick Mexican and Chris Conant. You can go there for the newest news on wrestling, MMA, boxing. See other shows on Fightful.com with the likes of Sean Rossap, Vince Russo, Rob McCarron, and others definitely on Fightful.com. But Justin, our Wrestle Reaction show today, we are going to start off with the draft recap. Just instantly, Just, what were your thoughts on the top 5 picks, Just?
To be honest with you, I was a little shocked. I liked it because it's different. It gives WWE a new face, and it was very unexpected. You know what I mean? I had my list of guys, you had your list of guys, and it was completely all this draft came out of left field. You know what I mean? Everything was different. Everything was like no one predicted this. I like it. It gives that shock value, and WWE is doing a really good job with it.
What was more shocking? Was it the Charlotte pick, the Finn Balor pick, Ambrose? What was surprising? Cedar, the second round?
To me, Finn Balor being picked that early on, he's a new guy. He's gonna be interesting how they market him. But again, like you already have legends like Ric Flair shooting on him. He's never gonna.
What did Flair say? Because I didn't know about this. What did Ric Flair say? I heard what Russo said, and you can find that on Fightful.com. What did Flair say?
Actually, you got to inform me what Russo said, but I'm going to tell you. Flair said that he can never see Finn Balor main eventing of WrestleMania.
Well, this is what Russo said, and I have a comment to say back to Russo on this statement. Russo said, in a shoot, Finn Balor pinned Rusev and Roman Reigns in the same night. He said, in a total shoot, would that happen? And I said, and my reaction back to that is, what happens, the difference between wrestling and a shoot is you're making the booking up. And it's just got to, whether it's believable or not. I guess where he's trying to get at is he's trying to say that it's not believable that a guy that's 5'10", 180 pounds can beat a 6'3", 280-pound guys. Not just one, but two guys. Do you agree with that?
I mean, in WWE terms, I see where he's coming from. If you look at traditional wrestling, you would never see a little guy pin a big guy like that. Never. That's why Rey Mysterio was so popular in WCW, and they could never push him to that level because he was too small. So I see where Russo's coming from. He's an older, he came in from the older era. So I see where he's coming from. But I mean, this is new wrestling. This is indie wrestling. Indie wrestling has taken over. You see all the spotty, all the hope spots, all the kickouts, that comes from indie wrestling. That's what people want to see.
And here's another thing too, and I want to definitely invite him on the show for whether he can make it on next week or the week after. But Jeff to kind of get his insights on what he thinks as well, because he thinks there's too many falsies in a match. Like just going through texting earlier at work, and I was like, "Yo, I just watched your show, cool show, whatever." I just didn't like the Sami Zayn comment. He replied back to me and said, well, Shawn Michaels did one super kick and the match was over. He said Kevin Owens did 3, and the match wasn't damn near over, and they did 100 false finishes. He said you see that every single time them guys work a show, it's less interesting. I beg the difference. I thought it was one of the matches of the year. I thought it was a great match. I think every time Sami Zayn goes on, it's a great match. Just what's your insight on that?
Yeah, I agree with the falsy statement because finishers back in the day used to mean something. The Stone Cold Stunner was one Stone Cold Stunner. It was a done deal. You know what I mean? It was very rare that someone would kick out of someone else's finisher. When you seen a finisher, it made you pop and you knew the match was over. Nowadays, you have dudes like you said, Kevin Owens doing 3 of his finishers, and the dude still kicks out. So I mean, I think it's killing that signature move feel. You know what I mean? When you see a signature move back in the day, you pop for it. Nowadays, you don't know. You know what I mean? It just dilutes the signature moves.
And to just touch on that a little bit more before we actually get into the show, the Super Kick Party done by the guys in the Bullet Club in New Japan. What's their names, Just?
The Young Bucks.
The Young Bucks. What do you think about their gimmick? How they kind of mock everybody and do a bunch of false finishes through a whole match? Is it entertaining? Will these guys ever get signed? What's your real opinion on this?
I mean, I heard rumors that WWE is looking into them. They are phenomenal guys. They are entertaining. They revolutionize wrestling. They make all these crazy angles. Like you said, they mock people's gimmicks. But not only that, they have fun. They're having fun with it. At the live shows, people are going there. They interact with the crowd really good. I seen them super kick a kid a few weeks ago. I mean, it was all staged, but I mean, you could tell the people were having fun. It was something different. So I think WWE should sign them and incorporate them with their product, especially with the way they're doing stuff now. A lot of new fresh faces are.
Well, here's another thing, too, and this comes from the voice of Russo's mouth again. He said when he was booking TNA, and this is a true shoot, he actually said this today. He said he booked them guys under the name Generation Me in TNA for their first ever match. And he said all day in the back, all they were doing was this. And he said they were basically just rehearsing their spots in the match. And he said that's cool and all, but when they got to do the match, and somebody would hit them with a big move, they would not sell. They forget the selling in a match. Now, as a total shoot, just you get hit in a total shoot, just if somebody kicks you in the ribs, would you sell your ribs or no? Because you wouldn't want the opponent to know that you're hurt there because he's going to try to attack you. Or is this just two different philosophies?
I think you have to sell. Selling is the most important part. I was just at a lucha show this weekend, and I was pointing out how this one guy, dudes were doing moves to him, and he just wasn't selling. And it was very sloppy. It made the match look – it was just a disorganized match. And it's bad for your opponent. It doesn't make your opponent look good, and it doesn't make you look good at all. So
Just you were in one of these great matches, Just. It was a great hardcore match. The opponent did not sell. Shoot, Crazy Drew. We're gonna drop a pipe bomb. Not even on a pipe bomb show. Just what was going through your head during that?
It was very disappointing because again I was very sick. I went into that match with a really high fever, and I just went in there because there was a bunch of girls at the show. We got a good amount of girls there, so I was like, let me just do this. Fuck it. And I'm in there pouring my heart and soul out. And this dude, I hear Stan. I mean, you hear him on the camera. Sell, Drew, sell, and I'm like, oh, and that's what that's when I first realized that he wasn't selling. When Stan was literally screaming, "Sell, Drew, sell," and the dude, I would kick him. I would hit him with like 3 light tubes. He just wasn't selling. But I mean, it's just.
But thinking of guys that do sell, we're gonna go back to the recap. We were talking about the draft. Seth Rollins, #1 pick. You agree with that over the world champion, Dean Ambrose? And what's your thoughts on this new Universal World Champion?
I think it's a stupid name, but I mean, the belt, I seen the belt online. If it's the belt that they're going to use, it's a pretty cool belt. It looks like the classic belt, the Wing Eagle belt. I mean, I think they're doing good. They have to bring another world title. You can't have one champion wrestle in every show. So I think that's good. My choice on Seth Rollins, sure, why not? He's back from his injury. He's fresh. People are popping for him.
Does he win the belt over Finn Balor, who's piss hot right now?
No.
He beat 7 other opponents in his first debut. And Josh, I gotta ask you, this is a total shoot. Has there ever been a debut that was more hotter than Finn Balor's debut ever. Can you name anybody off the top of your head that had a hotter debut ever than Finn Balor ever?
No, I can't. Yeah, honestly, I can't. Maybe AJ Styles. I gotta say AJ Styles might have.
But AJ Styles didn't compete for a world title shot. He didn't. He got eliminated in the Royal Rumble. Even better than AJ Styles, I'm gonna go one yet better. Paige, on her debut, she beat AJ Lee for the women's Divas heavyweight title. That may be a better debut. I don't know, but just going back on history, anybody who's debuted their first night hasn't got a push like that since I don't know what, especially in the men's division
No,
that
you're
I
right.
can name.
You're right. I was going to say Kevin Owens, but I mean, I think Balor beats him. You know, he gets a world title shot like next week. So yeah, you might be right. You might be right on that one.
And thinking of that, just what did you think about the two shows? Were there two different writers? You think were the shows differential? Is there a show? Is there a B show? What's your thoughts?
I mean, I think they're overall. I didn't fully watch the whole thing. I just read the results. But overall, from what I did see, I mean, you could tell that they're really trying to step their game up. They're really trying to get people's interest, and they're doing a really good job. The internet really made me mark out for the Raw because everyone was saying how great it was, and I was like, oh, it can't be that good. So I tuned in. I put some YouTube clips, and it really was a really really good show. It really was like a A+ show. As for SmackDown, I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, good.
That's for SmackDown. I checked on their stuff, and again, they're you could tell they're really trying hard. I think that they're doing really good with the company. The one thing that shocked me, and I don't know where this came from, is the women's title changing hands. Why would they do it on a Raw opposed to SummerSlam?
Because here's the thing, they are trying to set a tone and say, we are Raw, this is Nitro. Just giving it a prime example of these are two different companies. We're XPW, this is UCW, this is ROH, this is CZW. They're trying to differentiate the two companies, all right? If you want to differentiate the companies, don't mirror the company on the second night, all right? The first night, they started out with everybody on the roster on the stage. SmackDown started with everybody on the roster in the ring. After every match, you got an impromptu interview on Raw. After every match on SmackDown, you got an impromptu interview. If you're trying to set a tone that you're not watching their show, we have two different writers, act like it. I like the new stage Raw did. SmackDown did a new stage. That's cool. New logos, whole 9 yards, new music, great. But if you're trying to differentiate your show, act like you didn't watch the competition, write your own shit, and let's go head for head and see if you can actually keep up. SmackDown, how this became the B show for me is when the women's came out. All right, there were 6 women that came out. All right, Carmella from NXT, Alexa Bliss from NXT. All right, Naomi came out, Becky Lynch, Natalia, and Eva Marie, who had a great heel entrance. Just, I don't know if you watched it, but it's awesome. I'm going to plug it in real quick. Eva Marie came out last. All the center attention was her. They put the spotlight on her. She had her own ring announcer that announced all her great, fabulous life outside of the ring. Talked about how great of a star she is, how much prettier she is, and how much better she is than everybody. And then she just left. I thought that was fucking amazing. One thing that's not amazing is there's no women's title. Just like American Alpha debuting next week, there's no men's tag team title. So where does these women go? Where does the tag team division go there? What would you do with it if you were booking?
That's a good question. I mean, are they gonna? My question to you is, are they gonna have like joint shows like bragging rights? Have they talked about that?
Well, here, Shane McMahon announced Backlash is coming back. Former SmackDown pay-per-view only. He said it's going to be a SmackDown only pay-per-view 2 weeks after SummerSlam. So I can't see there being a women's title or a tag team title on that show. Title and a world title. How does that make sense?
It doesn't make sense at all. I mean, yeah, you're right. It doesn't make sense at all for the tag division. I mean, why be a tag team? You know, why be the number one tag team in for SmackDown when Raw has the belts, and vice versa with the women's division. But I mean, I'm sure they'll come up with something. I'm sure, back then WWE had the Divas title and they had the Women's title. Am I correct with that?
You are correct. I don't know if they had simultaneously. I got to really check into that. But one thing that kind of pointed out to me, and one thing that kind of shocked me was the second round of drafts. John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. Do you agree with these guys being picked in the second round, and why? Do you think it had anything to do with the drugs?
Oh, 100% had something to do with the drugs. You can't. I think overall, Lesnar was going to get picked number one, and they can't pick him number one because of the controversy that's going on. Who wouldn't want Brock Lesnar as their number one guy? You know what I mean? Sure, he's a part-time player, but his name alone will sell out arenas.
Now, question for you: did that have anything to do with Dolph Ziggler winning and possibly main eventing SummerSlam now? Dolph Ziggler, is he a main event superstar? He may be a main event wrestler. Absolutely, Dolph Ziggler is a main event wrestler. Is he a main event superstar? Your second biggest show of the year to main event for your prestigious title in the whole company. Is that your guy?
Yeah.
Is he a believable winner?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, sure, he won the world title twice and lost the after. Am I correct? He never had a successful world title run.
He lost to Del Rio, I believe, both times.
Right after he won the belt, both times, correct?
Correct.
So he never successfully. I mean, people pop for it, but he never had a successful run. I think they're going to try him out as a champion, and he obviously he's been around with the company for a long time. He could prove time and time again that he could go with the big time players. So I think it's a good decision putting him up there.
Finn Balor, do you agree with what they did with him? Rusev, Roman Reigns beating them guys on the first night. Was it a punishment?
For them guys, yeah. I mean, you could for Reigns 100%, but why for Rusev?
I don't know. He's the US champion. He has Lana, beautiful Lana with him. Why would Rusev lose that match? I don't get it.
You have to make him lose to put Finn Balor over. You know what I mean? You have to make him lose to someone, a credible heel, like someone with his standards. You know what I mean? So I think that was a good decision by WWE. Who else could he have pinned that night to make it that memorable? You know what I mean?
With the booking, would you have put Finn Balor over Roman Reigns?
Oh, Finn Balor, 100%. He's a new face. You're rebuilding Raw. You know what I mean? You want to bring in ratings. You want to give people that shock factor, that shock value. So yeah, 100%. That was a great decision.
Thinking about ratings, and we're thinking about bringing people up. Just this Saturday, just let people know where you're going. Just who's the headline of the show.
AR Fox is taking. What's his name?
Zack Sabre Jr. Guys, if you don't know who he is, watch the Cruiserweight Challenge. He is my pick to win it. He's Zack Sabre Jr. and he is the England version of Daniel Bryan. If you want to get your lid split by kicks, you're going to want to watch this guy. And this guy can get out of any hole I've ever seen done. A technical wrestler. What that is the guy professes his skill on being better than your move. What I mean by that is, if I go to give you a suplex, he's going to show you every way in the book to try to reverse your suplex into a different move. You're going to see that on Saturday, You're going to see how he gets out of holds. He does it like no other. My problem with him is he's a showboater. If he gets in the ring with a brand, a Kota Ibushi, a Shinsuke Nakamura, they're going to knock his lid off because this guy is Showboat City. And he's in the ring with another showboater like AR Fox, who I love, who is just a younger version of Ruckus, who I would love to see them two go head-to-head, one-on-one. And guys, if you don't know who AR Fox is, he's like a Sami Zayn just in the indie scene. It's going to be an excellent match. It's going to be a great match. Zack Sabre Jr. is probably going to go over. But to say the least, he's probably one of the top indie stars in the business today. Thinking of top indie stars, we got to talk about the CZW World Champion. That is Matt Tremont. There's more to the story that we're going to get into later on in the show. Tremont, is he NXT ready?
Yeah, 100%. Oh, that's a good question. TNA tried signing him. Can you see Matt Tremont in NXT? Yes. He has a big following. He has a large following. People care about this guy. People, you know what I mean? So I think you could see him in NXT. What's your opinion on him?
Well, he pulls to a certain demographic, just like Trump. Hillary and Trump. They pull to a certain demographic. Hillary pulls to females, and she pulls to minorities. To rich and pull to proven people, successful business people. They are surfing a certain demographic. All right. Matt Tremont is going to the more hardcore, more wrestling minded crowd, more to where Zack Sabre Jr. might appeal to more of the demographic that we may have lost, like the Eddie Guerrero fans, the Chris Benoit fans, the Chris Jericho fans. That's where Zack Sabre Jr. is going to favor. Matt Tremont's going to favor more of a Tommy Dreamer, a Sabu, a Raven, a small demographic that still want to see that type of style of wrestling, but might not be over to the full demographic that actually watch wrestling today.
It's funny. It's funny you bring that up because I was talking with one of the wrestling fans a few days ago about Matt Tremont, and he was bringing up how Matt Tremont did some shows for Ring of Honor, and he actually made it to the television syndicate program. And when he made it to the syndicate program, they cut out all of his wrestling moves. They cut when he was actually wrestling. He was executing some maneuvers, and they would cut that out. They would only broadcast his hardcore, his brawling in the crowd, all his hardcore gimmicks. You know what I mean? So that goes to show you. Again, I think Matt Tremont's a great wrestler, but you have so many people who are flashier than him in Ring of Honor that they just cut that out. You get what I'm saying?
I do 100%. And to stay on my NXT topic, who is the head trainer of CZW, you agree that he's in NXT right now before Matt Tremont. And what's your opinion on that and why?
Oh, they're putting Drew over really hard. You know what I mean? Like I watched. That's the one time I watched NXT with Drew on it, and they showed the video package they had on him. You would think this dude's been wrestling for years. I mean, he has been, but I'm saying like decades. I think they're doing a good job putting him over, and I definitely see him in NXT before Matt. I would not like to see it that way, but I do see it happening.
Here's the thing about NXT, just Triple H runs it. It's his company. It's his baby. He's going to do what he wants. And right now, what he wants, the 2 nights before SummerSlam, NXT main events announced. Shinsuke Nakamura, possibly the hottest wrestler in professional wrestling today, especially in my opinion, going against the brutal, the Samoan submission suplex city guy, Samoa Joe. What do you think about this match? Who comes out the victory? Who wins it? Who's more over? And what do you think is better on the booking in the crowd?
Overall, I think Nakamura is more over. I think you have to keep the title on Joe for a while. You know what I mean? You have to keep that feud going. I see Joe coming out, even though Nakamura is hotter. I see Joe coming out with the belt because what's this? His third or fourth title defense?
1, 2, 3, about that.
Yeah. So
yeah, probably about third or fourth.
Yeah, you have to keep
and thinking about third or fourth. Asuka, who is the women's champion. You see her losing to Bayley after Bayley just debuted at the last Battleground pay-per-view. Even though JBL, who I like sometimes and I don't like sometimes, he integrated. Vince McMahon was in his ear. He said, I got from a reliable source that this is Bayley's one-time only deal. And I'm going to backlight you guys on a little bit of information, all right? JBL, all right? Michael Cole's the main announcer. JBL is the color commentary host. All right. Vince McMahon's in his ear. So the reliable source is Vince McMahon. Okay. So actually everything JBL says out of his mouth isn't JBL. So the fans that hate on JBL, it actually comes from Vince McMahon. But to say the least, to get on my topic, where I'm trying to get at, does Bayley become the first ever women's NXT champion for a second time, or is that our last night in NXT?
I think she's going to take it home. I think she's winning it. I mean, that's my opinion. I really don't have no reasoning behind it. It's a random. I just think she's winning it. What's your take on it?
I'm kind of torn between the two. I would like to see her win it just because of what she did last year in Brooklyn and how that crowd popped for her in the match of the year versus Sasha Banks. So I would like to see a repeat of that. I don't know if I'm going to see a repeat of that because SummerSlam's 2 days after that, and I would like her to see the appear on Raw to actually beat Sasha Banks for the women's title on Raw 2 nights after that. I don't know if I'm going to get that. I hope I get that. It's just an early prediction. Thinking of early predictions. SummerSlam, Just. We're on SummerSlam. SummerSlam's around the corner. Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton. Who's your pick to win it?
I'm gonna have to go with Lesnar on that one. Lesnar's hot off the UFC 200 fight. You can't have him go into WWE and lose to Randy Orton. You just can't. It just wouldn't make sense. It's not logical.
Thinking of SummerSlam, let's go into the main events. I picked Brock Lesnar as well. Shinsuke Nakamura. Wow, I'm still on him. He's definitely going to come out the victorious. I have to go against you on that to answer everybody who I didn't answer yet. But
I want to question you on that. If you have him, where do you put Joe after that? You know, he's done.
One more time, Just. One more time. I didn't hear you.
If you have Joe lose to Nakamura, what happens to Joe after that? Do you have him? You know what I mean? It's too soon.
He goes on Raw and he chokes out the Intercontinental title winner, or he chokes out the U.S. title winner. You make a face win it, he chokes out the guy, or he goes on Raw and after Dolph Ziggler beats Dean Ambrose, you have him choke out Dean Ambrose. If Finn Balor wins the world title, you have Joe appear on Raw, you have him choke out Finn Balor. That's what you do with Joe. That's how you create a star. That's how you make it stars.
Well, when
it's going to beat these guys in feuds. But Joe goes on the show on Raw. Nakamura carries the NXT show. Joe chokes somebody out. Immediately feuds with that guy. The guy would be Dolph Ziggler. The guy would be Dean Ambrose. You don't have him choke out Samoa Joe. The crowd would pop if he chokes out Roman Reigns. If Joe do. That is booking the right way. That's what you do with Joe.
Well, I mean, you skip over everyone else and give Joe a world title, put him in the world title picture.
You don't, but you could. You don't. That's why I said several different names. You have choke out Roman. You have choke out Dolph Ziggler. You have to somebody substantial in order to make Joe irrelevant. That's the way you get a talent over. I'm not saying put the belt on Joe. I'm saying make Joe make sense. What I mean by that is Joe is a beast in NXT. When you bring him up, you want to keep him a beast. Reason by doing that is because you want to start new feuds. People always want to see new things. In the presidential debate, do people want to see Hillary win it? Do people want to see Trump win it? People just want to see a change. All right? So when you change is good. People want to see something different, all right? So when you put Joe in the picture, Joe is something different. We're used to seeing Randy. We're used to seeing John. We're used to seeing Triple H. So when you put Joe there, he is different. And when you have him choke somebody out, that works. I'm not saying make him win it. He could win it. If he believable and win it. But he is different. You agree with that?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go on a wild. I'm gonna go with the wild card. And I'm gonna predict that Joe debuts on either Raw or SmackDown with the NXT belt. I think that's the way they're gonna put him over. You're gonna call him.
And here's the thing. And here's the thing. How does that make the NXT title more valuable? It makes it more valuable by keeping it away from other drama. What I mean by that is, if you put the belt on anybody else, it doesn't have to be Nakamura, but it's going to be Nakamura. Nakamura could carry the house shows. Nakamura could carry the NXT shows all the way up into their next pay-per-view, which it probably ain't till December. But he's a guy that can sell out the crowd, sell out the house show, all the way up until then. You keep it on Joe. Joe's working double duty. You're burning out your talent before he gets up to the main roster. And what logic, what sense would that make by doing that to one of your guys that you want to possibly make one of your top talents in the company? One of the reasons why they didn't bring NXT. They didn't want to burn him out. He was a relevant talent that you can get over on the main roster. And thinking of a relevant talent, thinking of people that you can get over on the main roster, you can catch all the info on Fightful.com. Fightful.com, brought to you by the likes of Sean Rossap, Vince Russo. You can find all the info on there, Fightful.com. Plug in our new sponsor, Just SummerSlam. Just he keeps the belt. You're saying?
I think he keeps the belt. That's where I'm going with. I mean, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that one, and I do mean a lot of people because Nakamura is hot. But that's the way I see it going. You know, it's too soon. Why take the belt away from him after his third or fourth defense?
Well, we're talking about too soon. Just Mojo Rawley got drafted before Nakamura and Joe.
That's crazy, ain't it? That is ridiculous.
What sense in booking does that make? What does that make? What sense does that make? Why in the world would they do that? Because they didn't want to deplete the NXT roster?
Yeah, that's the only reason. There's no other reason. Why that's the only reason. Because NXT would have no one.
Thinking of depleting rosters, just thinking of keeping talent fresh, just after SummerSlam, just is where the booking is going to get tight. Do you agree with these Raw only, SmackDown only pay-per-views? Why and why not?
I mean, sure, nowadays, because we have the network. I mean, people are going to be watching it. You know, people are going to be watching it because it's going to be free on the network. You know, people are going to be attending the shows. They're changing their product. They're making the product relevant. You know what I mean? Relevant again. So people are going to be going to the shows. You're going to see new faces. You're not going to see Roman Reigns. You're not going to see Randy Orton with the belt. So I think it's a very good move by WWE, and I think if they keep doing the stuff that they're doing, they're going to get a good response to that. But my next question to you is, if you're in Triple H's shoes and you had 3 indie dudes to pick, who would you sign?
Oh, man, I didn't think you were going to go here at night with this, but all right, we're going to get a straight shoot from Chris Kona tonight. First guy is AR Fox, and WWE will never sign him. Reason
you know why?
And Justin, you can go over. I know why. You can go over with the fans why.
I mean, I heard he had. I mean, again, I never seen this, but I heard. Well, he had.
I've seen it. No homo involved. I've seen it. Got the link sent to me.
So it's true though. Is it really him though?
My first pick is AR Fox. Right now. Second pick has to be Zack Sabre Jr., who their eyes is on. Yeah. But Zack Sabre Jr.'s schedule is booked up until next summer. I don't know if you know that. As a straight shoot, did you know that?
No, I'm surprised he's wrestling this Saturday on a little indie show in PA.
His schedule is booked up. They said he can't sign a contract until next year this time. I was like, what the fuck? That immediately wanted me to watch this. I was like, I got to see this guy. If he's that hot, he's telling the biggest company in the world in next year. I got to see who this guy is. Instantly made me a star. Third guy that I would sign on there, Kota Ibushi. They are very close to signing him. They're probably going to sign him. And reason being is because I didn't think that demographic would actually work because who's the other guy name that actually wrestled in the Battle Royal? Begins with an H. The other Japan guy.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I can't memorize these Japanese names.
Right, but everybody knows who the fuck we're talking about right now. Kota Ibushi, you won't forget. That's what I'm trying to get at right now. You signed Kota. I sent you a match with him and Sami Zayn. And I only sent you 3 minutes of the fucking match. Imagine how the first 25 was.
Yeah.
Reed Star. Sami Zayn Reed Star, not Nakamura Reed Star. That's exactly where that talent would be at if you sign that guy. Zack Sabre Jr. will read Daniel Bryan, and AR Fox will read Kevin Owens. All right, so if you want to sign 3 legit guys, they're the guys to sign. I know you've been at. I know you have a favorite from there. I've been watching them. There's a guy there that I like, and I know you're probably going to name him. His name begins with a P. And who's your 2 other guys?
Are you talking about Pentagon Jr.?
That's absolutely him talking about.
Yeah, hands down him. But again, WWE can never sign him because he's under AAA's contract. AAA, what do you call it? Copyrighted his name and his catchphrases. So I mean, if you sign him, it's not going to be.
What about Prince Puma? Prince Puma, Ricochet, guys that talk shit. Ricochet, troubleshoot. All right, Chris Baldini. We were at a show where Ricochet was doing a match in his early days. He actually said something to Chris Baldini in the crowd. Just, were you there? You remember what he said to Chris Baldini?
No, I wasn't there.
Well, earlier days, me, Mike, Baldini, we're all there. Ricochet's doing a show. Prince Puma, as you guys know, on Lucha Underground. He said something to Baldini in the crowd. Baldini was doing something stupid. He's 15 years old. Said something in the crowd. I said something to the likes of Baldini. If this guy never been in WWE, this guy is one of the top 5 guys in the world today. He dates Tully Blanchard, one of the original 4 Horsemen's daughter. Dates her. And she has major heat in the back with most of the NXT superstars because she thinks she's better from being a Horseman's daughter. I don't think Ricochet ever gets signed because of that aspect. And not only that, just talent. He's a guy who's good, but he's not as good as the rest of the guys in Lucha Underground. But that's a guy WWE can control. That's a guy they want. He's like Carlisto. Do you agree why that's why WWE wouldn't sign a guy like Pentagon?
They wouldn't sign a guy like Pentagon because you have to take away his character and rebuild him from the ground up. But I want to go to that one guy you sent me a video. What's his name? He wrestled Prince Puma in the match. He was phenomenal. I'm gonna go with him. I've been watching his matches. I can't pronounce
which guy.
The English guy. I forget his name now.
Zack Sabre Jr.?
No, it's not Zack Sabre Jr. It's the guy Ospreay or something.
Oh yeah, Ospreay.
Ospreay. Yeah. He's really good. Yeah. He's really good.
Ospreay and Ricochet had one of the best matches they said in the indie scene ever. Jim Cornette commented on it. Did you hear Vader's comments on it?
No, what did Vader say? No, actually, that's the first time I seen that.
Vader said, "I'm not for tumblers. This is a tumblers match." He said, "I'm for wrestling." That's if he got the attention of Vader. I'm gonna tell you who they got the attention of. The very day after, Stone Cold Steve Austin on his podcast interviewed Ricochet and talked to him about the match. Austin loved the match and actually told him the comments about Vader and the whole 9 yards. That's how over Will Ospreay and the Ricochet match got. Awesome match. Guys, if you don't know these 2 guys, Google it, YouTube it. You guys will fucking love it.
I got a question for you, Chris. You think the people that don't appreciate this kind of wrestling, this whole lucha, hybrid, whatever you want to call this kind of wrestling, do you think they are out of touch with wrestling, in your opinion?
I don't know if it's more out of touch or I don't know if it's more out of sync. And what I mean by that is they are so they're so used to seeing the norm. So when they see something out of the norm, and what I mean by that is if they see one RKO, they think the match is over. If they see four super kicks and the guy kicks out, they're not used to that. That is the casual wrestling fans that Vince Russo said that WWE's lost the attention of. He said when his grandma watches wrestling, she sees a big finishing move, she thinks the match is over. If she watches Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, she thinks it's fake. Just, do you agree with that, or do you think that the casual wrestling fans just haven't caught on?
I think the casual wrestling fans haven't caught on. You have your. I was talking to a friend of ours, King Carson, and he is not a fan of these spotty matches. He's not a fan of the falsies. He's not. He just likes traditional, good old Triple H Rock matches. He said he wants it to be like that. He wants it to go back to them days. He likes that stuff over, the guys we're talking about. So I mean, again, you're 100% right. I think Vince hit the nail on the head with that one. WWE is not appealing to those kinds of fans. But again, the new breed of fans like this stuff. The new breed of fans like that Ring of Honor technique, that Ring of Honor flashy wrestling, and I'm a fan of it. I know you're a fan of it, and I think I like the way the company's the direction they're heading.
Well, I absolutely do like the way the company's heading. I like the way NXT's heading. I like the way SummerSlam's heading. One thing I like the way that the things are hitting is Wrestling Reaction that we're going to be doing every week, weekly, broadcasting our shows on the current events of Raw, SmackDown, pay-per-views, NXT, and we're going to keep it going. Just before we get off the air, we're going to end the air always with a dream match. Just, I want one dream match from the Indies and one dream match you want to see in WWE right now. Who's your two dream matches right now?
Oh man, you got me. You got me. Got me good there. I'm gonna have to go with the one match I've been talking about. My friend, my buddy, Jose. I want to see Pentagon Jr. with AR against AR Fox. I think it'll be a match for the ages. It's mixing high flying with lucha libre. It's basically the same thing. But I mean, again, AR Fox has his own style. Pentagon Jr. has their own style. You put them together, I think it's magic waiting to happen. As far as WWE is concerned, I'm going to have to go with AJ Styles and Finn Balor. I think they're going to save that match for a big time pay-per-view. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be spotty. It's going to have a lot of falsies, and the crowd's going to pop for it. How about?
All right. Here I go, and I always got to go wacky. I always got to go crazy. I'm going to go interpromotional to end this show. I want everybody's feedback on it in the comment feed. And on Fightful.com, there's going to be a column up. Sean's going to put it up. I want your total feedback on this. I'm going New Day. All right? I'm going New Day versus the kids. I'm going versus New Generation What do they call New Generation
Who's that? I'm sorry, I'm lost with that one question.
The Super Cat kids, Matt, another kid, Nick. The Super Kick kids from ROH.
You're talking about them, the Young Bucks.
The Young Bucks versus New Day is my first fantasy matchup. Who is your pick to win New Day versus the Young Bucks? My main event of the show, Here's my main event of the show for tonight, for tonight only. I got the crowd favorite, Roman Reigns. He's teaming up one night only, with another crowd favorite, John Cena. All right. He's going to take on the likes. You ready for this one,
I'm ready.
He's going to take on the likes of Kota Ibushi and Shinsuke Nakamura. Who do you guys like in this brutal tag team match? Please put your comments there below. Who goes over and why? Just being a booker, just being a fan, who would you put over in them two matches, and why?
Well, with the New Day and you have to put the New Day over because they haven't lost
over the Bucks, over the hottest tag team, over the Bullet Club tag team. Why would you do that? Well, come
They
on.
held the belts for so long. You can't. They had the belts for so long. You can't have them drop the belts to these dudes because they're hot and they're flashy. You know what I mean? These guys built their reign. They in and out. You know what I mean? They've been defending those belts and they held on to them for so long.
Let's talk about the two faces that runs the places. Roman Reigns, John Cena, the face of the future, the face of now, versus the two off breeds, which is Shinsuke Nakamura and Kota Ibushi. Pound for pound, John Cena, Roman Reigns. I don't know if they would win because they're more stronger. Pound for pound, just who wins this fucking match?
I'm gonna go with Cena and Reigns on this one. You know what I mean? Because people are gonna want to watch. And again, you're gonna disagree with me, but people are gonna watch these guys how they're gonna coexist together. And I just think
And you can't have these guys not close off the show. Here's the thing: will the crowd be mad if Shinsuke loses to Roman Reigns? Yes. John Cena will have to pin Kota Ibushi in order for this match to make sense. But in a hype match, a big time main event, you can't have that happen. How would you finish this match?
you can't have him you can't have him submit either. You just can't have that happen. I think I don't know. That's a good question. You got me thinking now, Chris.
And that's what I want to have everybody thinking. And guys, you can find this full column is going to be on Fightful.com. This is Wrestle Reaction. This is our first episode. Let us know what you think about it. This show will be reposted on Twitter, reposted on the website. I'm your host. I'm your favorite wrestler, Chris Kona. I'm signing out. He's the legendary Sick Mexican. Let them know where they can find you at, and let them know if you got anything else for the fans.
That's all I got to say. You can reach me out on my Facebook at facebook.com/I hate Justin Valencia, which is my real name. That's all I got to say. Thanks for having me on, Chris. You got anything else to say?
Sayonara, suckers. Peace, dude. Your favorite wrestler, signing out.